Viddal Riley, welcome
Yes.
to the Fight Buzz. We're supposed to be seeing you fighting tonight. We'll speak about that in a little moment. You're a busy man around that fight as well. But good afternoon, first of all. We just had a quick chat before we started there, but let's do it again. The back injury, how you doing?
Yeah, as I said, not the best. I know I made a smart decision, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's an easy decision. I made a decision that's for the long term as well, and that's difficult to do, and you never know how the future is going to plan out. But to make a decision based on a potentially great future, which I believe I can have in boxing, it's worth it. It's just hard once you're seeing the promo, you're seeing the attention, you're seeing the people performing at the event. You know, you was on the card with two legends that you should have never in your life been able to find the same show as, and then it ends up being taken away. But yeah, so mixed bag of emotions.
Because you're right. Tyson Jones it's just amazing the fact that that's even happening. You had this opportunity, but it's not the first major card that you've appeared on. So you know what it's like. You know what that buzz is about and that hype's about. So it's got. Does that make it harder? I guess that's now not there.
Yeah, it does. Of course, you know, I've been on a big show before, but I wasn't as involved in the production of the event and the marketing of the event. You know, Pacquiao and Broner, I was on the undercard, but I wasn't a highlight feature of the night. Whereas with this, I had, you know, we done all the promo shoots and we done the press conference, and there was really a lot of public eye put on the fact that I'm fighting. So then to not do it and, you know, end up pushing the fight and promoting the fight in that light, to not do it is difficult. But it's just, like I said, it's just a matter of thinking, why did I make that decision, remembering why, and being comfortable with that.
I wanna mention something that you said in one of your videos about it the other week. And then I want to bring in Dean, because Dean's obviously got a lot of experience in this kind of stuff as well. You said you've got a professional team around you to help you make these kind of decisions, because sometimes the fighter is too brave for their own good, I guess, is the implication there. You've got these guys around you that, if you don't know it already, you trust their decision. That's why you bring them in, to kind of help you make those decisions. And you obviously trust the guys that you work with.
Of course, that's a big part to play. If I'm gonna have you around me, I'm gonna have you taking care of something that's so sacred to me, then yeah, I'm gonna need to trust your word and believe in what you're saying. Yeah, I can't take it lightly, because my career is not something to be taken lightly. So I have to put trust into the people around me, and if they say certain things and they're adamant, I have to listen.
And Dean, you'll know all about that. You've worked alongside all kinds of fighters over the years. You know how important that kind of team is to a fighter's not a fighter without a team in so many cases.
Yeah. Do you know? To be honest, when you said it, I like a little bit of banter, so I was actually going to be trying to bust a wisecrack, but then, you know, like, because I was thinking, you know, like, I think, you know, Roy Jones. I remember when you know, as he's got on in his career, his legs are gone, you know. And another one, the one? What's the heavyweight one? It was quite similar, good movement. I forgot his name right now. Outspoken, always cussing Mike Tyson, Shannon Briggs. What's his name? Tony? Is it Tony?
Who are you thinking about? What?
He's a heavyweight.
What year was?
He came from middleweight, and he didn't fight Roy Jones, but he went up to heavyweight. And he's outspoken anyway. And you know, him and Roy Jones were so good at movement, they literally could sit on the ropes and bend, and you know, like, so I was thinking maybe you could have just, you know, cool them to the ropes and just
chill and try and get it. I know,
man. Camp you're in. So I was thinking, depends, you know, like the shoulder rolling. I don't know if you're in Mayweather's camp or whatever. You know, like you get that American power where you can just say, you know, when you start in the middle and you just say, let's go this way, buddy, and bring them to the rope.
Come to the ropes. Yeah. No, it's one of those things. Like, could I have done that? Potentially, probably. But again, I don't want that. I want.
No, absolutely.
You know, yeah, I want to look great.
You got to take it all serious. You got to make sure you don't go in with a handicap, because some guys go in with handicaps and then they use the excuses, what ifs, muts, maybes, and so on, and they say, oh, my toe, my shoulder, you know, this is why I lost. You don't want to have any excuses. You're kind of early in your career. What have you had, like 2-3 fights or something? How much?
So yeah, I've had 4 fights, so early in my career.
I saw you on, I was there at that fight actually, that Pacquiao Rona in Vegas, me, Dill, and the team, and a few other people.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we might have missed your fight. I don't recall.
Yeah, everybody missed my fight. It was early.
No, but look, it's an amazing look for someone so early in your career to be on such a, you know, the magnitude of such a night in taking all that in, and then look, now you had the second bite of the apple being in that. But you know, so it's good, you know. So you know, you're young, you're still climbing, you're building. So for real, you got to take hard decisions sometimes and say, you know what, you know, this one I'm going to miss out, but in the end I'm going to be in maybe 20 more of these, you know what I mean? So I've got to look at that. What I'd like to ask, what took you to America? Why did you go over there? Because I can hear that you sound English. So what made you want to start your career in the USA? What brought you across the pond?
Oh, that's where I was approached from. To start with, because I went to the Mayweather gym. Was sparring with a few of the guys out there, and you know, I done well, impressed a few people out there, and then it became, you know, a thing where it was like, let's make you turn pro and start with us out here. And at the beginning, I thought, nah, you know, I'm from the UK. Let me stay in the UK. We know boxing is booming in the UK right now, especially my weight, cruiserweight. And but I thought, maybe let me take a separate path. Let me take a separate journey. Of course, I could be amongst, you know, Richard and Tommy McCarthy and Lawrence and all these people, but I didn't actually want to do that. I wanted to be different. You know, I wanted to have my own path written for me. I wanted to kind of take my own journey and then meet up with those guys later on once I've already built what I needed to in a separate place. So that's kind of the approach I'm going for. And then when I do meet up with these guys, it's time. It's like we both built something separate, and now let's battle. Let's go for it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've got to say, Viddal, I really like the way that you're managing your career, because it's not just about the boxing, is it? You know, you've got social media stuff, the music, you've got all these different things. And what I like is the traditional boxers, in the sense, who focus on the graft, and that's the whole life and everything else. Fair play to them; they get so far up the mountain, some get to the top. What you're doing, and this is not really a plug, so that's, don't think of it like that. But I was looking at like your channel in particular, the membership schemes and things like this, and the fact that you're almost embracing this next generation of like, this is how you fuse, if you like, you infuse sports career management with social media. Because, you know, look at Tyson and Roy Jones, right? When they were in their heyday, when they were in their prime, social media wasn't really a thing. So we all them with what the newspapers said, or what the TV said, or the radio said. So now the fact you get so much more access, you know, you've got to manage that life. So rather than kind of getting caught out like a lot of fighters do, they get caught drunk on nights out or whatever, and they have to find a way to deal with it. You're taking it the other way and saying, look, come on board. I'll help. I'll show you how I train. I'll show you how I eat. I'll show you what I go through in camp. And it's almost like, I'm really impressed because you're taking the lead on that. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see any other boxers doing that.
Well, there's a few, you know, like Ryan Garcia and people like that who have embraced the social media side of things. It is a new wave, but I think it is the future. I think it depends on how you look at it. It depends on how you look at boxing. You know, I look at boxing as a way to give myself a better living, a way to elevate my life from what I have to where I can be. So if you sell a membership, or you make a YouTube channel, or you get sponsors, and plus your fight purses, then if you're using it to better your life, then I don't see why you would shut down all those other avenues. If you purely just want to fight, all you want to do from boxing is fight, then you don't need a YouTube channel. It doesn't matter. You're doing what you want to do, which is fight. For me, I'm like, how can I not have a day job again? How can I stop myself from having a day job again? I know a ton of fighters during lockdown, during COVID, during this whole pandemic, that they can't guarantee themselves any fights. They had to get jobs. They have to go and get a job because they can't get any fights. And I'm like, you know, if you had a YouTube channel, you could make yourself more appealing to brands. You would live off your sponsor money. But yeah, it just depends on how you envision yourself. But if you're doing it to make a living, why not maximize your chances of making a living?
You've got a lot of young fighters in your care, haven't you? Like you see them trying to like go down this route as well as the fighting.
Who's that question to
you? So you've got a lot.
Okay, yeah, no, listen, I echo what you said. Look, I do a lot of media stuff myself, you know. So I you know, I do a lot of interviews, and you know, I've kind of done it for a lot of people, you know, and built their channels and kind of get them good numbers and stuff like that. So with the fighting, I've seen this wave where it's nothing to do with you. I know there's guys that aren't really talented. There's some boys out there and get opportunities because they're a brand. And you know, I've looked into that myself, and I said, well, look, at the end of the day, this is somewhat of a popularity content. You know, it would open up doors for you with brands and stuff like that. And then the promoters want to look at you because they're looking at how can they endorse you. Look, example is Tony Fury went on Love Island. Before he went on Love Island, there wasn't really a big talk about him. He was just Tyson Fury's brother. He came out, he won. He's got like 1 million+ followers on Instagram. He's got sponsors coming out his arsehole.
Literally.
He's headlining shows, and the thing about it is, I watched him, not this fight, the fight before, weren't too like overly impressed. He got the win. That's the main thing. I watched him again the other day. He was better than the second time. So in the grand scheme of it, it's working according to the plan. Because what happened, he might not have been the best boxer when he started, but obviously finances what come with that. Now he's more serious because he's saying, hey, I can you know, headline a show, I can make money, the endorsements are coming, and what it allows me to do now is say, I can take this seriously because I know there's definitely a big bag at the end of all of this rainbow as well. You get me? So I can see his brother training, they're taking it on. I think their other brother's just gone pro, he's training. So they're all saying, yo, there's money here, homie. There's big cheese waiting for all of us. Let's get this together, and we're gonna get that cheddar, and we can take it on. We might not be as good as Tyson because we started a bit later, but we can equally push a narrative and build a brand. And I think that's a great idea, a great way to do it if you can. Not everyone is easily accessible or can talk in front of a camera and know how to kind of articulate themselves. It's not everyone is easy for camera, and some ain't even easy on the eye. Sorry to be like that. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them. You know what I mean? So I mean, what you're doing is great, and I think you kind of built your brand, and you can elevate it to other heights because there's guys ahead of you but don't have your brand
following
brand. So it's an amazing thing. So you can do great things anywhere, really, to be honest with you.
And that brand is right, because boxing is a volatile and unforgiving sport, isn't it? I mean, if you, Viddal, I'm not suggesting that you would. You would. Let's say you take a couple of losses in the next couple of fights. From a purely boxing perspective, the interest goes a little bit like this. Happens at every level. Look at Anthony Joshua. Andy Ruiz beat him, and everyone's going, "Oh, is he finished?" Do you know what I mean? And of course, he's not finished. He's one of the biggest names in the world. But people start asking that question. If he lost the rematch, it goes down a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And then maybe he fights someone else. Maybe that person, maybe Pulev beats him. I don't know. And then he goes. So the fact that you're building, that's the point I was getting at. Is probably the future of the sport, and how the next generation, the kids now, will maybe build a brand around just a boxing lifestyle.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the smartest thing to do. Honestly, boxing's not promised. It's not promised. So if you can make something immediately, try your best to make it.
Let's
let me ask a question. Sorry, what got you into, what was it, YouTubing you was doing? Was it gaming? Was it YouTube? Yeah.
So I was KSI's boxing coach. Because I was coaching him, people started following me and getting into grips with like my personality, my career, and what I do besides training him. So it was like everything spun off the fact that I was training him. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. You was boxing beforehand? Or?
Yeah. I've been boxing since I was 2. Like I've been boxing my whole life.
I was looking at your accomplishments. Yeah. And there's some on there: the national championships, Team GBs. You know, this is, and this, you will see this. Because, you know, I know you will have seen it, Viddal, in comment sections and stuff. You know, people just see the YouTuber. That's all they see. What they don't see is the work that goes on the scene, the medals, the silver medals, the other work.
Yeah, that wasn't, they wasn't privy to that information, so I allowed them to be naive. Yeah.
until you catch them in the alley.
That's it. And the thing is, the people that say all these things, when I see them, they take pictures of me and they want my, 100%. They want me to shout them out on their Snapchat and all that stuff. So how can I lose sleep over it, man? How can I lose sleep?
It's ridiculous.
Let's get back onto the boxing, and I don't want to dwell on it because it's obviously going to be hard to take that you're not on the card tonight. But I've got to ask you, but in fact, both of you, Tyson Jones tonight. Are we watching it? Obviously, you'll be watching it. But the obvious one? Who wins it?
I'll let him go first.
I'm sorry. The whole time I've been asked about this fight, I've not given a definitive answer. I'm not going to either. But what I can say is the rules lean towards Tyson. The short rounds lean towards Tyson. The weight, people say they're both the same weight, but we all know Roy Jones isn't a heavyweight. Tyson's been a heavyweight since the beginning of his career to the end. Roy had to build to heavyweight and then had to go back down. So now that he's just a heavyweight because he's old, not because he's built as a heavyweight man. So it all leans in Tyson's favor. I just want both guys to come out safe. We know how Roy's chin has been in the latter stage of his career, so putting him in there with Tyson isn't like the best person to use to test your chin. But it's my favorite fighter. Look, Roy's my favorite fighter. You see him, he's right there. He's my favorite fighter. But I just don't want him to get hurt, man. I just don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want it.
Go on, Dino.
That's it.
Yeah, he kind of surmised it. They summed it up quite well. Look, listen, I am Mike Tyson, one of the most feared, revered fighters in a lot of areas. Big knockout power, the mad weaving and bobbing. Then you got one of the most skillful who'd ever done it. And he summed it up there with Roy Jones's chin in the later part of his career. So but what I look at it though is the inactivity of Mike Tyson. He hasn't really boxed competitive for a very long time. Roy Jones has been, a bait if he's got knocked out or, he boxed for a high level. He boxed
2 or 3 years ago.
What's the one?
What was it like 2 or 3 years ago? When was Roy Jones' last fight?
What the guy?
Yeah, about 2017.
Lebedev. He boxed Lebedev, and Lebedev is a big puncher, but he got knocked out in the last round. So, and that was an active Lebedev who was a champion who was doing things. So he knows how to move. He knows how to ride shots. He knows how to negate certain things in the ring. So, when you look at that, you think, okay, you might be able to get a few rounds out of him. But Mike Tyson on his, I don't know, weed or CBD or his coming to bring that smoke from. Listen,
he is.
He was on. He had a different adrenaline. So I feel like Macanelli knocked him out. So I'm gonna feel like if Macanelli can. No disrespect to Macanelli, he was good in his time as well. I got a feeling I might more lean towards a knockout for Mike. And there is a possibility that Roy Jones could outbox him. And yet again, what you're saying, because it's 2-minute rounds, it gives Mike even a better chance because at least he's a big, muscular kind of guy throwing haymakers. So how many rounds is it over?
8 twos.
Oh, 8-2. So yeah, listen, it's interesting, man. But yeah, I think likely if you want to be a smart bet, you go for Iron Mike to get a crazy knockout. And like you say, you wish them all the best. May the best man win. May whoever happens in there, they both come out safe and sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What happens with you next, then, Viddal? How long till you're back in training? How long till you're, or do you even know?
I would like to be, from what my team had told me, my physio team specialist, I should be able to announce that a fight should be coming up for me in about February, like end of February, beginning of March. I should be in full training and able to say that I have a fight coming up shortly.
And you either the same guy again, or the guy's fighting Hassan Rakam Jr. You saying you want to win?
That fight is not happening no more. Hassan Rakam Jr. got tested positive for COVID at the weigh-in.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't see that.
So that's not happening. I don't know, maybe that opponent's cursed because no one wants to get in there and fight him. But I don't mind fighting either of them. I don't mind fighting, even if they're not fighting, I don't mind fighting either of those guys next. People say, oh, he pulled out because he's scared. And I'm like, do you understand how long I've been fighting? Like the people that I've been in the ring with, like I'm not going to be scared of these guys. Yeah. That's quite funny to me. But to prove that, but life's about showing, not talking. I'll fight those guys next if need be, just to prove that.
Where are you training? Are you like with COVID? I don't know what the travel situation is. Are you going back to America? Or are you staying over here?
So no, I'm gonna stay here and do my physio and rehab here. And then when I start camp, I'll have camp here, and then I'll go out to the US a couple weeks before my next fight. And finish off the camp, but I'll be in the UK majority of the time.
What was camp life like with TMT? You did like with the money thing.
It's good. It's different. It's a different experience. Obviously, there's things that I prefer my way and the way I've been doing things, and then there's bits that they add in that I'm grateful to have heard and had the experience to be around. Especially at the stage of my career, you're learning so much, you're picking up so much, and to be able to go to another country and get input from coaches that have completely different teachings is a blessing. And yeah, I think it has progressed me, and it has made me learn things I wouldn't have learned if I stayed here. So yeah, it's literally just like anything, different teachers, different surroundings. But some stuff you like to keep the same. But overall, great experience.
What do your fight prefer, Dean? Is it staying at home or moving around into different countries?
Listen, I've done a lot of traveling in this boxing thing, and I let me tell you something. I echo that traveling stuff. But we did Europe, we did like Austria, Hamburg, Dusseldorf, Munich, everywhere. We literally done a lot of time with the Klitschko's. Jonathan Banks, we went Kronk, Detroit, Chicago. I've just been everywhere, and embrace it. Just taking. We've been with Adam Booth for a bit over here, so I've literally kind of taken little bits from little people and kind of just molded a training style for myself. How I like to box, how I like to see people box. Just kind of said that to the boys. I feel like traveling, going abroad, sparring, learning, taking in different, because it will show you if you really want it. You know what I mean? Sitting in the comforts of your house, people saying I'm giving up everything for this, in the comforts of your house with your family and all that. It's when you're away. It's when you're away that really counts. That you know if you want it. Because being in camps for months, doing the repetitive, getting up 6 o'clock in the morning. That in Austria was chapping. I got the van. I picked up all the boys. It was mad foggy out there. You couldn't even see the roads. You get in the gym, you do one session, you go, you have breakfast. After breakfast, you rest, you go back again. We're training like 3-4 times a day. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that kind of stuff for me, it builds character, it builds stuff with people. So go around and kind of learn the sport. And what do? You're taking up different stuff. America has a totally different style of how they box and what they do. They do a lot of catch and shoots. They like to a lot of men do that shoulder roll thing and whatever. You know what I mean? English boxers a little bit upright sometimes. They take too much lick in their face. You know, like, there's different, styles. For me though, I like a mixture. I like to, if I'm boxing and my hand's a little bit out here, I catch the shot. Sometimes maybe I jab, I step off, and then try and counter different things. But all round, I think, I'd say to any guy who wants to invest in his future to move around, learn, and you literally get to see. Because if you really want to go and do this, you got to go and learn and train with the best to try and do something. If you're sitting at home training with your same partner all day in, day out, you're not really going to learn, because after a while you understand each other, you understand the body, face, shoulders, what's going to happen, and you're no longer learning. So for me, getting out there in the big bad world, get cracking and see, sometimes it costs you, or someone gets past whoop inspiring, but then you're gonna, you're gonna go over there, you're gonna get lapsed up a couple times, but after another couple of weeks, you come in there, you think, boom, I caught him with that right, goddamn, I caught you. You start to eventually get better and better and confidence. So, I definitely doing stuff.
That's right. Well, listen, we're going to let you run on because you're a busy man at the moment.
Yes.
I know you're going to be watching tonight. So
of course.
I hope you can enjoy it. With everything that's gone on. Let me ask you real quick. I think I'm right in saying last time we spoke, are you a West Ham fan?
No, I boxed for West Ham, the club, but I'm a Spurs fan.
You're Spurs fan? Oh, well, you're enjoying it the moment then.
But about time. It's about time.
Is it coming home this year? Let me just ask, is it coming home this year?
We're not going to speak on it, man. I can't, and I'm not a liar, innit? So I can't even speak on it. Let's just let it ride out and see what happens.
Fair enough. Well, listen, mate, it's been a pleasure today having you on. Thank you for coming joining us. All the best with the recovery, and we'll see you next time out in February, March.
Appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Thank you.